Back! Back! That water gone voodoo! This is muy bad.
Biological warfare was an interesting subject for us because it wasn't something that I thought of in my lexicon of Star Wars. And the idea of a virus it was hard for me to at first picture how that was going to work. In the comic books, they had experimented with developing a virus killing Gungans. There had been a Karen Traviss novel, Republic Commandos, where the Separatists were developing a biological weapon. So using those stories that existed in the Star Wars expanded universe as a way of saying there are cases where this has already happened, and this is the Clone Wars version of that type of warfare, which is new to the larger Star Wars audience.
Allow me to present the return of the infamous Blue Shadow Virus.
Dr. Vindy he's on the extreme end of Star Wars villains, I think. He's a bit absurd, but he's evil because of his absurdity.
Wonderful specimens.
He's a bit over the top. His alien race was based on some sketches for episode 2 that got abandoned. George will give us a lot of designs from time to time, and among them was this long-necked, vertical-eyed creature, and that was who George said, I'd like Vindy to look like this.
He was designed by Jackson Z, who normally would do more sort of environments and landscapes and stuff, so I think it was really fun for Jackson to get to design the character. This design was an astronaut for one of the prequel movies under this sort of classic 50s style, bell jar, clear glass dome, bubble helmet thing. It just sort of gave him a very interesting silhouette.
Friends of yours, I assume. They arrived quicker than I would have thought.
Michael York was brought in to voice Dr. Vindy, and he just went crazy when he says, yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
I think it's pretty funny, and it shows this kind of bizarre villain that seemed kind of a little bit crazy, as if he's been in the lab too long.
This is the last of the bombs, Doctor.
I'm Velvet is the last. You think I'd lose count?
I'm a rabbit droid. I'm the rabbit, little butler rabbit guy with the ears. Hands him a bomb, and he's like, go kill everybody.
Take this away.
Okay.
Okay. You know.
That's another one of those things we can add in because he doesn't have a mouth. So
Right, yeah, exactly.
It's not in the air. It's in the water. Who are you? Me, Sir Peppy Bow.
Peppy Bo is an interesting kind of a lead female Gungan character. We were all a bit curious how she was going to be, what she was going to look like. She's pink.
That's right.
Pretty. She's a hat. For some reason, I always saw that character with a hat.
Although there are, in the far, far background of episode 1, there are female Gungans, this was the first time that one of them had a speaking role and showed up close in camera.
They're looking for the sick maker.
Peppy Bo was designed by Wayne Lowe, who came up with this really interesting way of dealing with the big floppy ears on a Gungan, which just completely changes the look away from Jar Jar, but is still very much a believable Gungan character design.
Wayne did a great job at creating this kind of sexy Gungan, little ears back, like she had a ponytail. It was always just a matter of proportion with her as a lady and how we could make her a good counterpoint to Jar Jar. A crew favorite moment is when she kind of whacks Jar Jar, electrocutes and knocks him over with her stick.
What you doing?
Why you sir here?
Yeah, it's kind of fun to watch.
Captain Typho, the battle droid is ready for analysis.
Captain Typho appears for the first time in this episode, mainly because we finally have enough resources to get him built.
Considering the latest developments, we thought it was best to wait for you.
Because he's got an eye patch, straight away you sort of wonder what this guy's deal is, because he obviously has some sort of interesting backstory. One of the weirder things about Typho was that he has curly hair, and curly hair just hadn't been attempted on the show up to this point. Darren Marshall sculpts these maquettes just to see how that looks in the round. It made doing curly hair on Padme easier, and anytime some sort of curly pelt on an animal was built, we'd sort of already figured out how that would look just because of Typho's hair.
Russell Chong adapted a Doug Chang design for a Naboo police craft, this big yellow ship. We'll get this design and then we adapt it, and then we quickly find out, well, it's got to have landing gear. It doesn't have landing gear. There's no way in or out of the ship. And so the designers still have to do a substantial amount of work from the past that we're now bringing into the present Clone Wars. Just the Naboo Palace was an interesting environment to work in. You've seen it in the movie, so again, the fans know it, so we have to get it right.
It's always fun when you go back to one of the movie locations. In the same way that when you design one of the movie characters for the show, you have to figure out how to make it read as the same person or place, but not be just a carbon copy.
It was a huge thrill to shoot in that hangar where you know Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan face off against Darth Maul. The same hangar. I mean, that's great. We had a problem with the tails of the Naboo starfighters and putting them in their stalls. So we put a little donut there, like the tails are inserted in a socket in the wall. That was the only way we could solve it. You know, the length, everything we thought would measure correctly, and there was no time to change it, so there it is in the background. I talked to John Knoll about this problem, and he says, you know, we had the same problem in Phantom Menace. So I thought, oh my gosh, when you're following something, you're being accurate, that same issue, that was a dilemma. I mean, I don't know, I found that kind of fascinating. You have so many characters, so many environments. You have to be creative and solve these problems. That's a heavy task on this crew, and they answer it brilliantly every time. We had Dr. Vindy's entire underground base to build. We had the rolling hills to build, the swamp to build. Vindy's a new character.
We have a breach!
Typho's a new character.
Tell us where that lab is.
Naboo Guard's a new character. Padme in a hazmat suit.
I don't want to hurt you.
Jar Jar in the hazmat suit. Peppy Bo.
Misa, come too!
Different texture on the bomb squad clone.
Looks like the bomb room.
When you compare to the older episodes in season 1, we would get 1 new character. The talent of the teams grew enough that we were able to be doing 7 new characters. So it's nice to be able to take those things and use them now to expand the Clone Wars.
Leaving so soon, Doctor?
You are running out of time.